Hi, boys and girls. So we've got several different materials that I'm going to ask you to get for today. Okay, you are going to need some scissors and a highlighter and a pencil. You're going to need a wipe-off board and one piece of paper or two pieces of paper. So if you don't have a wipe-off board, you get two pieces of paper. If you do have a wipe-off board, you get one piece of paper. And you're going to need this interactive text that I sent to you on the email. So go ahead and gather all those things now. Let's pause the video. That way the picture of all these things will stay up and you can collect them. And then unpause the video when you have everything that you need. All right, we are going to start with the wipe-off board, or if you do not have a wipe-off board, one of your pieces of paper and your pencil. Okay, so depending on what you have, you're going to either start with the paper or the wipe-off board to write on. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to write the word rip. Let's write it over a little bit from the edge because we're going to be adding some things here. In fact, I will turn my whiteboard this way and write rip. Okay, so what is our short vowel sound in rip, if you can say it out loud? That's right, it's I. I. What if we put a D on the beginning of rip? What does it change the word into? Can you say it out loud? Drip. So what we did was we took a single consonant sound of and we added a D to it. And we made a blend here. So now it says dr, dr. So we're blending the two sounds together very quickly to make a collective sound and then reading the rest of the word. So drip. Let's change the I to an O. Change the I to an O. And let's sound through the word now out loud, please. Drop, drop. What is the word out loud? Drop. Good. Drop. So now we're going to change the D to the letter C to form a new blend at the beginning of this word. So now let's blend it all together and see what it says. Out loud, please. Crop. Crop. The farmer hosed down his crop of vegetables. So a crop is a group of plants that are growing, okay, often found on a farm. Good. Okay, so that is our practice with blends for today. It was very quick, I know, but we are going to go ahead and get into the next part. So you can put your paper or your whiteboard off to the side, and you are going to need to find your interactive text that is entitled The Frogs and the Well. Now, you do not need to put yours in a cover. I am putting mine in a cover because if I write on this with you, I am going to need to use it in class as well. So that's the only reason that I'm doing that. You do not need to have yours in a cover. You can write directly on your text, okay? So let's start by reading the text. So I want you to pause the video and I want you to read The Frogs and the Well, the whole story, okay? So pause now, please. All right, so the next thing I want you to do is go through with your highlighter. Now, if you didn't have a highlighter, you might want to just get a yellow crayon, okay, because those work just as well. And I want you to actually highlight the high frequency words that we've had this week. So I'm about to put up a list of those so that you can see them. All right, so you can see that I have now written all of the high frequency words for this week on my whiteboard and put it off to the side of the article. You do not need to write all these down right now. What I want you to do is go through the article and look at the screen where my high frequency words are and highlight all of the high frequency words that you see. So let's pause the video and do that now, please. All right, so you can see where I have highlighted the ones that I found. I looked over it several times to see if I missed any. I didn't see any that I missed, but it's possible that I did because it's a lot of words. If you want to check yours with mine, you might find a few new ones as well. So you can pause the video and check your work. All right, now let's go down to the bottom of the page here where it says interact with the text. It says circle words with L, R, and S blends. Remember, a blend is where you have an L with another letter, usually at the beginning of a word. That happens very quickly, like sl, or with an R, like br, or with an S, like st. Okay, so I want you to pause the video and circle all the words that you can find like that. All right, so I have circled those words that have an L, an R, or an S blend. So you can pause the video and check your work. All right, now they're asking us to underline 3 words with short vowels. Remember, the short vowels are a, e, I, sounds. So find 3 words and underline them that have short vowels in them. You can pause and do that now. So there were a lot of different choices that we all could have made for this. Okay, but here are 3 examples that I found. I found into has the I sound in it. Yes, it has the oo sound, which is an O sound, which is not short, but the I sound is short. So into. I found well with the sound, and I found but with the sound in it. Okay. Now, let's come down to where it says interact with the text and read number 2, okay? It says, what did you wonder about as you read the story? Did you find an answer? It says discuss with a partner. I know that you're at home, so we can't quite do that part. Use details from the story to support your answer. So I want you to just think about that for a minute. What did you wonder about as you read the story? And did the story give you the answer? So pause and think about that for a few minutes. All right, so one of the things that I wondered about as I read the story, I noticed that it talked about frogs in the first paragraph, but it didn't really describe the frogs. And then it talked more about the frogs in the second paragraph, but it said the frogs, the frogs. So it didn't describe them until we got to the end of this paragraph. And then it said small frog. And so I thought, well, that's interesting. There's 2 frogs. So one of them is small, and I started wondering exactly what that frog would look like. And then what would the other frog look like? Would the other frog be smaller, or would it be bigger than this small frog? So when I went down here, I noticed that, let's see, where is it? Here, it says the big frog was smart. So now I know, oh, okay, there was a smaller frog and then there was a bigger frog. And so I started to kind of visualize what those frogs looked like in my mind. And it changed from the way I visualized them in the first paragraph and the first part of the second paragraph, where I just thought they were the same size, two frogs sitting there talking with each other or moving around and doing things. So I had to change my visualization when I got more information. And so that's something that I noticed and wondered about as I went through. And it did tell me the answer that I was looking for because it said the big frog. After I saw the small frog and wondered if the other frog was smaller or bigger, it did go ahead and tell me it was a bigger frog. Okay? All right. So let's put that aside. And now you need to get your piece of paper. So please get your other piece of paper that's blank. Pause the video. All right, so hopefully you've got your piece of paper now. And what we're going to do is we're actually going to fold it like a book this way and crease it, whoops, and then fold it again in the same direction. Okay, and then we're going to open it up. And you've got 4 columns folded, so you can draw your lines on the columns. Okay, and now we're going to fold it the other way. Remember, you can pause at any time if you need to slow it down. So we're going to put it to where the lines are horizontal, and we're going to fold it 1 time and again 2 times, and open it up and put our lines on those folds. So we're making 16 boxes. Okay. And there we go. Okay, so you have these boxes now that you've made all over your paper,